What's up, everybody? Giancarlo here with Bad Beats. Today, I'm here with my best friend, Matt Sublett. The U7 victory strike guy, whatever you want to call him. He's coming off of a top 4 finish in the PPG Webcam event number 2. What did you play, man?
I played Invoker, of course. Gotta have something with victory strike in it.
Yeah, no real surprise there. Before we get into the deck list, how do you feel about we've seen pretty much 2 people play the deck for this entire format. It's you and Legends. How do you feel about the deck in the meta right now?
The deck is situated very well in the meta right now, as long as you don't go against Red Broly. Mm-hmm. You've got a really good Dark Broly matchup. You have a really good Vegex matchup. I know there's a new ban list and everything, but talking about the format of the webcam event, there was no new ban list. So you have a good Vegex matchup. Your rogue matchups are almost always free. It's just generally how it goes with victory strike cards. But your Red Broly matchup, absolutely atrocious. You either dodge it or you lose to it. You kind of that's how it goes.
I feel that.
Sin is also, Sin is free as well.
Yep. Because
you're playing a superior control deck. Invoker is a control deck, and Sin Shinran is an inferior version of a control deck.
Yeah. Invoker is absolutely the best control deck. So this tournament was the Draft Box 6/Set 11. Obviously, the pre-release for Set 12 just happened. Moving into Set 12, how do you feel about the deck? Kind of the same?
It all depends on how Red Broly sits at the meta. If Red Broly is the most played deck, then this deck is unplayable almost. I've tried so many ways, so many hours thinking how to beat Red Broly, and this version that you're going to see is the best I could try to beat Red Broly, but you still have to see perfect curve, perfect cards, and still hope not to die.
Okay.
Because their deck is so explosive and it does so much for so little mana. So if Red Broly is the king of the new coming meta, Invoker is going to be very hard to play. If Dark Broly or Sin Shinran or a slower deck is the king of the meta, then Invoker is the way to go.
Okay, yeah, and there's been a lot of hype around Mecha. I watched you play test a couple games against Mecha. It looked pretty good for Invoker. I know you like that matchup. Yeah.
Yes, it's they don't do anything, you don't do anything, but then you have a win condition. So they kind of just lose to that.
Yeah, your win condition says victory strike. Theirs says double strike. Little bit of a difference there. Okay. You want to just get into the deck list?
Yeah, sure. We'll get into the deck list. Let me switch this camera over real quick so that everybody can see.
All right.
So yes, I played Invoker. I'm not going to go into big detail on the obvious cards, but I'll give a little bit of an explanation because I know that the deck isn't necessarily as played as many other decks.
Right.
So this is a Surge leader, one of only 2 that you might find in an event. This one in the Surge cell. The way they work is you put a card from your hand of each color that represents the leader under it, and you awaken it. And then kind of like an XYZ monster in Yu-Gi-Oh, you can put one of those in the drop area to get a special effect.
Yep.
So this side of the leader has a simple activate battle effect. Whenever he's in a battle, once per battle, you can discard a spell, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand, draw a card, and he gains 5k. It's kind of like always a 15k, basically. Pseudo Hercule leader, but with a bigger body.
Yep.
Then on this side, when he awakens, he draws 3 and untaps 1. On this side, his effects are active at 5 life or less, which because he has a self-awaken effect, you will always be able to access that. You send 1 card that's attached to him to the drop area. You either add 3 multicolor spells from your drop and warp to your hand with different names, or you look at or if you control a U7, you look at your opponent's hand and discard a extra card or a battle card that's 35k or less. Mm-hmm. This card cannot take secret rares except the Sin Shinran secret rare.
Yep.
And it cannot take unisons. It's very important to remember. Don't let an Invoker player take your unison. They cannot do that with the leader.
And so generally with that discard effect, I know you usually want to hit in a gate so your victory strike goes through. Obviously, there's more utility than that, but is that your main target?
So it's very matchup dependent. Mm-hmm. You only really want to rip the negates from their hand if victory strike is your win condition, and it's not your win condition in most matchups. Most matchups, your win condition is catastrophic blow.
Okay.
So when you look at your opponent's hand, you want to prioritize removing answers to the rival secret.
Okay.
That is your main thing there. If you're against an aggro deck, you don't prioritize removing anything from their hand. You add 3 spells back generally, especially against Red Broly, because you need more cards in your hand to not have your negates taken from you.
Yeah. Have you ever ripped the 6-drop out of their hand? Like, do you? So here's a question: is, let's say you're going first against Red Broly. Do you charge your 3rd energy because you want to play that Vegeta? And then if you do you try to rip the 6 out of their hand with that ability?
So, yes, depending on your hand size. If your hand size is 7 or more, I'll usually try to rip a card out of their hand to take the 6-drop.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 6 or less, you're kind of in danger at that point. You need to add spells back. Usually, they won't play into Royal Condemnation. So if you play Vegeta, leave a mana untapped, they're not going to sacrifice a 5-drop, their entire chain, basically, to do nothing.
Right.
And so normally the Red Broly player, being aware that Royal Condemnation exists, doesn't go into the 6-drop until they can kind of guarantee it.
Okay.
And so they'll usually swing with something first, allowing you to Dimension Magic Beerus or Senzu Bean.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So I'm going to go through the deck based on its colors, and we're going to start with the mono red cards, and these are the floodgates. 2 Violent Rays and 3 Topo.
Yep. Violent Rays is like my least favorite card right now, at least when I'm not playing it. It's a great card. And then Topo's Topo, man. Yeah, I don't think you have to say much about these, right? They just stop attack, stop aggression.
Dude, this is probably one of the worst cards in the deck, honestly.
Really?
It's only good against Red Broly and Dark Broly. Every other deck, not fast enough to hurt you, realistically speaking. Or what they're doing is they're swinging with a bunch of 15Ks, and so this card doesn't do too much.
Yeah.
It has to be main because of Red Broly. If you lose game 1, they're going to go first game 2, or they're going to go first game 3. So
yeah.
It's a problem.
So it makes sense what you said. But we did see a breakdown of the numbers. The number 1 played deck was Dark Broly, and the number 2 played deck was tied between Red Broly and Regex. So being that Dark Broly and Red Broly are basically the top 2 decks in terms of numbers being played in the format, you would say Violent Rays still deserves a spot in the main?
Absolutely. Even though it's the worst card in the deck, it's necessary. It's completely and absolutely necessary. I'm saying that it's the worst card in the deck in the sense of it's the deadest card in your hand in most games.
Right, that makes sense.
It's not multicolored, so you don't get to charge it and have an Invoker energy up.
Yeah.
It's not blue, so you can't tap it turn 1 for Tournament of Power Arena.
Yeah. Can you discard it with your leader on the front side?
Yes, you can discard any extra card with your leader, and that's what I do most. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is its use. And then if you're against Dark Broly, it's very important to remember Super Kamehameha is a card. Mm-hmm. So you want a Topo when they're above 4 life, and you want a Violent Rays when they're below 4 life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Play around Super Kamehameha.
Yep. Yeah, that speaking of Super Kamehameha, yeah, it's been one of the best cards in my Dark Broly deck. Definitely.
It's an incredible card, yeah. I'm surprised that it took people so long to start playing it.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see it in the format. The 4-life multicolor, even though the black one's not a multicolor, counterplays came out a long time ago, and they haven't really seen much play.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that they're finally getting their time.
Yeah.
All right, so those are the main floodgates of the deck and the only mono red cards. The mono blue cards, of course, for Tournament of Power Arena, the lifeblood of the deck, though you don't necessarily need this card to win. There were a few games that I won without seeing this card at all.
Yeah.
But in the matchups where you are not favored, you need to see this card early, and that is the unfortunate thing about it.
Right. Yep.
Against the deck like Sin Shenron, or even against a deck like Dark Broly, you're not really being pressured enough to need this on turn 1, so that you could take a turn off on turn 2 to maybe play it. But against Red Broly, if you don't see this turn 1, it's really, really hard.
Right. And what are the main things you're looking for when you're rearranging the top or bottom decking cards?
That is... So my answer to a lot of your questions is going to end up being situational.
Right. So let's say specifically Red Broly. I know you said Violent Rays. Probably like any defensive spell, right? That would make the most sense.
Looking for your floodgates for your leader draw, and you're looking for any and every multicolor spell you can add to your hand with the Invoker spells effects.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can keep your hand high.
Yeah. Okay.
And
then we have amazing. Yep. 4D Magic, of course. Why wouldn't you play? I've said this in other deck profiles. Why wouldn't you just play 4D Magic? There's not much to say about it.
Card's amazing. In my
Yeah.
deck, it untaps 2 red-blue energy, which means I get to play, 8, 10 mana worth of spells,
Yeah.
2 energy.
Yep.
In 2 Sensu Bean, this is not a good format for Sensu Bean,
Yep.
especially with the Gex potentially moving out of it. Everybody's attacking with 25 and 30Ks. This is not helping anything.
Yeah.
I mostly play it because it's more blue to charge with Arena.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have about 10 to 12 mono blue cards in your deck, including the Arenas, so that you can play it on turn 1. When you're mulliganing in this deck, you want to keep this, and you want to keep any other blue card.
Right.
Even if you don't have Arena in your opening hand, if you have a Dimension Magic, you keep it. If you have a Sensu Bean, you keep it, because you want to hopefully mulligan into this.
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
If you don't see this on turn 1, don't charge your mono blue color. Charge a dual color card.
Mm-hmm.
That way, you have that mono blue card on 2 if you need to topo. Now you have 2 energy open. On 3, if you need to play Vegeta, now you'll have that energy open. Because remember, all your multicolor cards come in with energy exhaust. So if on turn 1 you charge a Vegeta, in turn 2 you want to charge a Rival Seeker. On turn 3 you want to be able to play a Vegeta, so you need to still have that blue card to tap 3 for Vegeta.
Exactly.
So you need to keep in mind, if you're playing Invoker, that what you charge and how you charge matters.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't see TOP.
Right, because TOP negates energy exhaust on red-blue cards, right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah,
as long as your leader is a Universe 7, your red-blue multicolor cards do not have energy exhaust with TOP.
Right.
And of course, as you mentioned earlier, when you get to active main, you tap this card, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, you rearrange them in any order you like, and then you return all 3 cards to the top or the bottom of your deck. Right? And then the last mono blue card, I'm running 52 cards because I expected a lot more Vegex. And so I main decked this card instead of siding it as a counter to that. And it's Undying Spirit Sun Gohan.
So we ain't seen him in a little bit, have we?
No, I stole this idea from Legends.
Okay. Oh, well, shout out to him, yeah.
Yeah, this was in his side deck.
Okay.
The way this card works is it's 3 mana counterplay. It's 15k. Its counterplay skill is play this card. It has a permanent. If you have a multicolor card in your energy, it costs 2 instead of 3. Okay? Then when you play it, you bounce one of your opponent's cards back to their hand with an energy cost of 4 or less, and then if it's your opponent's turn, you untap a blue energy. Mm-hmm. So against Vegex, what you used to do. Right. Against Vegex was when their Vegeta, the Reluctant Reinforcements, would tap a mana to play Splintering Mind. You would counterplay with this and put the Splintering Mind back in their hand, then untap one of your mana.
Yep. Seems pretty good to me.
And so that was the idea. I did play against 2 Vegex in the tournament, and neither one of them was playing the Trunks. So
weird. Okay.
I sided it out.
That's weird.
So I played 52 cards for nothing, but on the bright side, this was the easiest 2 side outs in every single match.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Now we're going to go into the multicolored creatures, the multicolored battle cards. For Vegeta, this is your Invoker Vegeta. This is the card that you stabilize on. You stabilize on the back of this card.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-cost, 19k Vegeta. Barrier, Deflect, Energy, Exhaust, and Invoker. This man has all the keywords that you need.
Yeah, it's got a lot.
And the Invoker keyword, just so that everybody knows, is when you're playing a multicolor extra card. Let's say I play a multicolor extra card like this one, which I'll get to in a minute. It costs 5 energy normally. Vegeta says it costs 1 multicolor energy instead. And so that is a very powerful keyword, one of the strongest keywords we have available in the game. It allows you to play very good cards at a ridiculous discount. It's the only reason the deck can work.
Right.
You want to see this guy on turn 3, every turn 3. And if you see multiple of it, just charge it or awaken with it. It's fine. Or play 4.
Right.
Right? Then I play 4 Rival Seeker, Son Gokus. This card is the reason that this deck is still playable. So they printed all the Invoker cards in set 9. And then in set 10, they printed the best Invoker card.
Right.
That is Rival Seeker. So this card does two very important things. The first thing is if there's a multicolor extra card in your drop area, this is a 0 mana 10k combo. That's something that a lot of people forget about, is that my deck has 4 super combos. It has 4 0 mana 10k cards. So if your final push against Invoker is not bigger than about 65, it's not going to work, generally. I can out-combo big things. I can't out-combo a bunch of small things. Mm-hmm. At least not effectively.
Yeah.
The second part of his skill is what wins you the game. It's an activate main once per turn. If you have 5 or more energy, you choose 2. It has to be exactly 2 multicolor extra cards in your warp. You add them back to your hand, and you play a up to 1 6-drop red-blue multicolor Sun Goku on top of this card. The 6-drop that you play is your Ultra Instinct Sun Goku Energy Explosion. So this card has Invoker, it has Energy Exhaust like all the red-blue cards, and it has 2 autos. The first auto is when he's played, you choose up to 3 of your energy, put it in your drop area, choose up to 3 cards in your drop area, put it in your energy, ignoring Energy Exhaust. Okay? So if you're keeping track at home, on 5 mana you tap 3 for Rival Seeker, then you use his effect to play this and untap 3, basically.
Yeah.
You're on turn 5, you still have 5 energy, and this beefy 6-drop on the board.
Yeah.
Now, this card's second auto, and one of your cards, that's any of your cards, an extra card, a battle card, your leader card, if you played a Unison, your Unison card, when one of your cards deals damage to your opponent, once per turn, they take 1 additional damage. Mm-hmm. Okay. And this is very important for use with Catastrophic Blow.
Yeah.
We will get to that here in a little bit.
Your shooters.
Finish off.
Your pew-pews, your cat blows.
Yes, the pew-pews. The secret rare.
Yep, there he is.
Impacts the power.
Yep.
This is the victory strike. I don't like playing decks that aren't revolving around a secret rare in some way or other, and victory strike's always a good secret rare.
Yeah. Now he's actually $1,000. So if you didn't have one before, I guess you're fucked. I don't know what to tell you.
Yes, actually, a lot of Invoker cards were bought out. Vegeta's $25 for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway. So this card has several different effects. Victory Strike, if you're not aware by now, if this card deals damage to your leader, you lose the game. Mm-hmm. So he's an octuple strike. He deals 8 damage in one swing. He has Invoker, and he has an activate main skill that completely breaks the game. So for 2 red and 3 blue mana, if you have 5 or more multicolor extra cards in your drop area, and your leader card is a Universe 7 card, negate the skills of all of your opponent's non-extra cards in all areas.
Yeah.
And then play this card. Okay, So what does that negate? Well, that negates battle card effects.
Yep.
Okay. That negates leader card effects, which means if your leader's not awakened, you don't get to awaken.
Yep.
And it negates unison effects. Yep. Isn't that cool?
No, it sure is. It's definitely one word I would use to describe it.
And this effect lasts until the end of your opponent's next turn.
Yeah. So
it's the turn you play this card, on your turn and on their turn. They have no skills but extra cards. Yep. And so generally, like you were talking about earlier, the idea is to use your leader's effect to take their negates out of their hand, their extra card negates, and then kill them with Victory Strike.
Yeah.
In practice, this card buys you 1 turn so that you can play your 6-drop and kill them like that.
Yeah, I know you've talked about that before. So a lot of the times you're not even playing it to win the game. You're playing it to prevent them from winning, and then you just kill them with your cat blows.
Correct, yeah. It's kind of like a proactive baby hatch.
Right, okay.
When you play this card, you turn all your opponent's stuff off, and what you're doing there is you are buying a turn to draw a Rival Seeker, or draw a 6-drop, or draw the cat blows you might be missing. That's normally what this card does. However, if you're playing against a rogue deck, this card swings for Victory Strike and usually wins.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. All right. And then you play 4 Beerus Super Combo. When you combo with this card, if it's your opponent's turn, you untap a red-blue multicolor energy. That's amazing.
Yep.
And he goes really well with Tyrannical Assault Cooler. This is the Arrival Cooler. So for 1 red mana, if you have a red and a blue card in your combo area, which Beerus, satisfies completely, You can play this card from your hand using a rival. It's a 20k double strike, and when he comes into play, he has an auto that says your opponent places the top card of the deck in their drop area. You choose up to 2 of their battle cards, ignoring barrier, and minus 10k them. So this card is good against aggro decks because it'll usually Beerus out combos one swing, and this will make 2 others too small.
Yeah.
Against Vegex, this kills their Kais on board, kills their Trunks on board, so they can't block, so you can swing in with it and hit their unison.
Yep.
And after they side deck, this kills those little silver bullet cards for blue that says I can't untap energy with Dimension Magic.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So Cooler is very good. But again, the format's really big right now, so like large 25, 30Ks.
Yeah.
And so only 2 coolers. I don't think any more is a very good idea. It kind of bricks in your hand if you don't have beers.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I guess you can use Rival Seeker as well, so that's pretty cool.
You can, yeah, but you also have to have an energy open. And your deck is you have to be very energy efficient with the deck to survive your opponent's turns, especially if they're aggro.
Right.
If it's in Shinron, you can just go nuts. Use your energy however you want.
Yeah.
I'll summon Rival Seeker on 4 against them.
Nice.
No fear. All right, so for the multicolor extra card spells, we play 11 Invoker spells. So I'll explain why I call them Invoker spells here in a minute. So it's 4 Catastrophic Blow, 4 Royal Condemnation, and 3 Emperor's Deathbeam. So they all share an activate main that you use when they're in your drop area, and that's why I call them Invoker spells, because of this activate main. So when they're in your drop area, you can send them to your warp from your drop area, look at the top card of your deck. If it's a multicolor extra card, you add that card to your hand. Otherwise, it remains on the top. All 11 of these cards do that. Your leader card discards them on the front. So you get to discard this card to draw a card, use Tournament of Power Arena to stack your deck, and then you can warp this card to add the top card of your deck to your hand.
Right.
And so it's a way to keep a very nice hand size and dig through your deck faster, find Victory Strike faster, what have you. And so anyway, now what each of these spells does is Emperor's Deathbeam, minus 30k to a battle card, and this is on an activate battle or main, and ignores barrier. Royal Condemnation is a counterplay. If the battle card being played has an energy cost of 8 or less, it goes to the bottom of the deck instead of being played. And it requires your leader to be a Universe 7. And then Catastrophic Blow, if you have no battle cards in play, or a Sun Goku in play, a red-blue multicolor Sun Goku in play, you deal 1 damage to your opponent.
All right. And, yeah, like you said, that's your real win con. That card is annoying as hell. I've seen you do I know you can't deal 9 damage, but I've seen you have the ability to deal 9 damage before with that Catastrophic Blow combos. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
hold on real quick before you put those cards before you put those cards away. I noticed one of those death beams is not stamped. Is there a reason? Do you have anything to say about that?
I don't know what you're talking about. They're definitely stamped. All of them are stamped.
Right. Okay. Moving on.
Oh, now you're hurting my feelings. All right. So anyway, so Catastrophic Blow. This, in combination with the Rival Seekers and the 6 drops, allows you to do an absolutely absurd amount of damage.
Oh, yeah.
Against one of my opponents, might have been Ryan Severin playing.
Oh, don't call him out like that. Yeah, tell him.
I don't remember. It was against one opponent. I had access to one of these, and I was able to do 6 damage.
6 damage with 1. Okay. I don't know how. I don't know.
3 Rival Seeker, 3 6 drop.
3 Rival Seeker. Okay.
Hero.
Yeah, that'll do it.
It was crazy. Also, keep in mind that you can activate this card if you have this guy on the board.
Right.
So you play Vegeta. You have Vegeta on board. On 5 energy, you play Rival Seeker. You still have 2 energy open. So you can use these from your hand, then warp them. Then Rival Seeker adds them back to your hand to play this card.
All right. Okay.
So your ability to recycle Catastrophic Blow is absurd. I think the most damage that I could do to somebody was 10.
10, okay, yeah. All right.
10 on turn 5 and 11 on turn 6.
All right, well, good, we only have 8 lives, so it's a little bit of overkill, but as they say, right?
Rejuvenate.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, actually, now we can gain life. So rejuvenate will not save you. You will take 9 damage from catastrophic blow.
Now, on average, Invoker's damage is 4.
4. Okay,
If
that
you
seems
are
totally
at
fair.
4 life, yeah. If you're at 4 life and they're about to go to turn 5, if you see 2 catastrophic blows warped or in their drop area, go in.
Go in. Okay.
Need to go in. Go in because you're probably going to die otherwise.
Yeah.
If you're at 6 life, that's a little more complicated. That usually requires you to have 2 rival seekers and a 6-drop or 2 6-drops and 2 rival seekers.
Okay. Yeah.
2 rival seekers and 2 6-drops is 6 damage with 2 catastrophic blows because it's 3 damage for this one and then 3 damage for this one. Remember that the rival seeker recycles them.
Yeah.
If you're at 7 life, you're probably still going to die to catastrophic blow because your deck is probably slow. And so you're not very safe. The really good thing about this deck is that it is so hard to play around both win conditions.
Oh,
stay at 8 life, you get victory striked. Go down to 3 or 2 or 1 or 4 life,
right.
You get catastrophic blow.
Yeah. You can go high or low, so it punishes either type of play. That's one of the reasons that Invoker I think is the best control deck, because it doesn't play Dragon Ball. It plays its own game. It doesn't care what you do. Your opponent does. It doesn't play Dragon Ball. It plays Invoker.
It plays outside of the scope of the game,
exactly,
and
yeah.
I love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. It feels
control player.
I think
that kind of thing.
I think it feels good to win with, and to just see your opponent get sad. Something about that definitely feels good. I don't know what it is.
All right, and then the honorary Invoker spell, Sleepy Boy technique.
Oh yeah.
This card is so dumb. I don't know why they made it.
Low key, dude. I think that's like the best card in the deck. This shit is so good.
Yeah. All right, so for those of you who play Yu-Gi-Oh, this is negate attack, pot of greed, and compulsory evacuation device in a card.
A lot of shit, bro.
All right. For 3 mana, and I had tapped 3 mana for this before. It does not feel bad to pay 3 mana for this card. Yeah. It's a counter attack. You negate the attack, draw 2 cards, and then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, any level cost, by the way.
Yeah.
Put it back in their hand.
Yeah.
So this stops 2 attacks and draws you 2 cards.
Yeah, bro.
If you have Vegeta on the field, this costs 1 mana.
Yep.
Dumb. This is a great card. I love it. It's fantastic. You don't play 4 of it, though. You only play 3.
Right.
And then these are kind of my tech slots. In a way, they're not really tech cards. They're in all Invoker decks, but they're all one-ofs. Because you can see them pretty easily in this deck, and you can side them out for other copies of the other ones if you need to.
Okay.
So I play 1 combination attack, 1 we're in this together, and 1 instinctive reprisal in the main. So instinctive reprisal is another negate. It counterattack, negate the attack, then choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards or leader cards and give them minus 10k for the turn.
Right.
So this card's very good against Vegex, and it's okay against go wide decks.
Yeah.
Against things like Dark Broly, though, this doesn't do anything.
Right.
It negates their leader swing, maybe.
Yeah.
They swing with that first. So usually this gets sided out against Dark Broly.
Makes sense.
We're in this together. Again, this is another card that's great against Vegex and terrible against Dark Broly and terrible against Red Broly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's okay against Red Broly, depending on their hand size. So what it does is, if your leader card is a Universe 7, you KO all of your opponent's 25k or less battle cards on their board. So that's really good.
Yeah.
And then it has another effect for 1 red mana, and that's the most heartbreaking part of this card. Is it's not a blue, it's a red.
Yeah.
You have to tap it. You have to tap a blue-red usually.
Yeah.
If your leader is Universe 7, you add this card from your drop area to your hand.
Yep.
So if you're against green, every Ribrian they use is now 1 less discard.
Exactly. Yeah. And then really you can kind of just discard it with your leader, add it back, discard it with your leader, add it back for a couple turns, right?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
You usually have enough spells that doesn't matter. Like, you want to be discarding your Invoker spells to get their effects in the drop.
Right.
But if you don't see those, that happens sometimes. Yeah. This one is good.
All right.
Usually in the mulligan, I will try to keep this card if I see it.
Okay.
And then combination attack. This is the Noob Slayer.
Oh, yeah.
This card is.
Yeah, it is.
So what it does is it's an activate battle for 2 energy. And you choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less, return it to their hand, and untap a blue or red energy. So when I'm on 2 energy and I don't have Vegeta up, they go in with a 5 cost or less. They lose the game because I put it back in their hand. They comboed everything off.
Yeah.
So it's always important to know that this card exists. It is probably in their main deck somewhere. And if it's in my drop area, I can get it back with my leader.
Right. Oh yeah, that's true. You can. It always. It presents the threat always. That's cool.
I always have access to this card, even against Red Broly. If Red Broly banishes it with something, I still have access to it with my leader.
Back. Okay, pretty cool. It's the Shigesh Kid Q. It just it's the not lose the game button. But yeah, like it's the Noob Slayer, right? Because people aren't really gonna play into that.
And so that's the main deck.
Right.
For the side deck, of course, we have
OG, of course. I bet I can guess one card in your side deck off the cuff.
Yeah, what is it?
It's of course it's the 6-drop set 1 SPR Broly. Of course, we know the Matt Sublett special. It's in the sideboard. It always is.
Yep, that is correct. In every event, I essentially side deck 14 cards because I will always side deck this set 6 Broly.
Always.
I got deck checked, and the lady chuckled when she said the name of this card.
Yeah, bro. It's so funny. I remember when you first started doing that. People would they would either do like a random deck profile or a net deck, and you would see it in their sideboard, or they would be like, "I wonder why he sides this card," and it's like, bro, you already know.
My favorite thing is when they start theory crafting why I sided it. They'll be like, maybe he would put it in and use it to it would like summon it and win the game off of it in the late game or something. No.
No.
It's best card. It's my favorite card. It's the first card I ever pulled.
Yeah.
I love this card. It's awesome.
And anybody, side note, right? Anybody from the Maryland, Virginia area knows back in like set 1 and 2, we were the SVB, the Super Vegeta Bros. We played Vegeta Broly. I know because we've been playtesting the new, well, it's not new, but the old green Broly with the new field spell. And I know you're pretty excited to play that for some fun times.
I am. I hope that it somehow ends up being competitive and good, so that my boy can go in the main deck instead of having to chill in the side deck.
That's true. Yeah, we're gonna finally put him in the main board. It's been quite a while.
3 years, 2 or 3 years, something like that.
Yeah.
How long has this game been out? That's how long it's been since this guy's been in a.
It don't feel that old. I think 2017 is when when the game started, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
definitely don't feel that long. Then.
Summer of 20. I know.
Yeah.
This card is also the reason I can never play a leader that says I can't have non-X battle cards in my deck.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, it makes
I
sense.
can never play the green Frieza that says no Saiyans in the deck. I can never play Kaba.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So Victory Strike always on my side. I use them as a deck divider thing.
Absolutely.
All right. So in the side deck, the other 2 Violet Rays, you have to go 4 Violet Rays. Again, Red Broly is just hard.
Yeah, I believe
no other way to say it.
Yeah.
Even with 4 Violet Rays, you still lose sometimes.
Yeah.
2 absolute release balls. The Super Kamehameha for blue.
Absolutely.
So this card is pretty fantastic. I see some people use Beerus Ball instead of this. I prefer this card because it untaps your mana. So what this does is, if your leader card is blue and your life is 4 or less, you counterplay on a 3 cost or less. It goes to their hand instead of being played, so it's kind of like a smaller God Ceiling.
Yeah.
Then you untap. Then you choose up to 1 of your blue energy, switch it to active mode. And if you have a multicolor card in your energy, which I always do, hopefully, you can add a card from your life to your hand instead of paying the energy cost for this. Mm-hmm. So if you're tapped out, this will give you an energy back.
Yeah.
So it's a very good card. I sided it in, put in some work against a bunch of decks. I played against a Harudagarn set 6 starter Broly deck.
Yeah, I've seen those.
And, this card destroyed that. It was really unfortunate.
For him.
Yes.
Yeah, unfortunate for him.
2 Mafuba.
Okay.
You make the red Broly chain disappear for a second, they'll make another one.
Does their if you Mafuba, let's say you Mafuba a 5-drop, and they're awakened, can they use their leader ability to bring back a 4 out?
It doesn't leave the battle area.
It doesn't leave. Okay, that makes sense.
Doesn't leave the battle area. So that's what this card can do. Most of the time, though, I side it for Sin Shinron.
Yeah.
Swing with a 9-drop, I just make it disappear for a second.
Yeah.
Now, note, the 9-drop doesn't actually stop Victory Strike, so it doesn't matter all that much. It stops your catastrophic blow play, but that's what Sleepy Boy technique is for, too.
Yeah.
So,
you can
yeah.
beam it too, can't you? Yeah.
Yes, I do. I do, in fact,
yeah. Very commonplace happening.
Legends was in the event, so I sided one all too easy for the mirror match.
Yep.
And he didn't play Invoker.
Yep.
I didn't play against him. But this card's also good against any green-yellow kind of decks, ones with Celzino, because if it gets discarded by Celzino, you can still survive if you need to.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Then, so the 3 one-of spells, you can play with the ratios of these cards depending on your matchup, and the things you usually play with those ratios with are another combination attack and 2 Tyranny's cost.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot Tyranny's Cross wasn't in the main. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, Tyranny's Cross is a pretty good card.
It is, but it's only good against slower matchups. So if you're against a slow deck or a green deck, this is a value package.
Yeah.
These. So this card is very good against blue and yellow because they have a lot of cards in hand and they're not doing that much.
Yeah.
It's also good against Dark Broly because you're stalling enough time. They're going to have a big hand size after they awaken, and this is your comeback. You make them shuffle them back into the deck.
Yeah.
They don't go to drop area either. They don't get any added value.
Absolutely.
This card against Dark Broly is better than both of these.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Also better.
Yeah, definitely.
Usually against Dark Broly, I'll take these 2 out for it and keep this in for Demigra.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the value package, and then this card goes in against any aggro deck.
Makes sense.
Any and all.
Yeah.
Against Vigex, against Red Broly, not against Dark Broly, not against Shinron, against random decks. Majin Vegeta. This card hurts Majin Vegeta's soul. It puts their 3-drop Servant Vegeta back in their hand. It just destroys their deck.
Yeah, Majin, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And then for this event, I wanted to test a few cards in the side deck that I don't know how I feel about, honestly.
Right.
I don't know how I felt about them putting in, and I don't know how I felt about using them. It's 2 Black Mass Saiyan and 2 Mechikabura.
Okay.
So the idea behind these cards is I want to add more floodgates to my deck to survive. But going into the event, I know that means I'm set back at least 1 turn by each of these.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just wanted to test them out. And the only thing that I was going to test them out against was Red Broly. Maybe Mechikabura for Dark Broly, but mostly this was for Red Broly when I was going first. If I'm going second, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
Going first, that was the point.
I agree, yeah.
And they terrible.
Really? Yeah, I guess.
Don't fit into this deck very well.
No, I wouldn't think so. Because, what does Mechikabura do? Attack? No. You know what I mean?
Against Red Broly, yes, it does.
Oh, yeah. And then, I could see...
Against Red Broly, you go face.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. And then, BMS always dies now. They always have the unison. I don't know what it is. Every time I go against Red Broly, turn 1 BMS, they go turn 1, turn 2 Piccolo Jr. unison. So, BMS is cool, but, they always just have the unison. Now, I guess if they don't have the unison, it's really, really good if they don't have it. But, eventually they'll just take the neg to win the game, right? I mean, that's just how it is.
Well, that's the idea, but remember, I'm Invoker. If I play this on turn 1, I did not charge a multicolor card, and I did not play Tournament of Power Arena. I'm behind.
Yeah.
Very behind. But let's say that, for example, I charged, I don't know, Sensu Beam so that I could play the BMS.
Yeah.
All right? It's fantastic. They summon a 1-drop and swap into a 3-drop or something, right? They don't use Vampa. Or they play Vampa, take a life with it, summon nothing.
Yeah.
What have you. And so on my next turn, I have to charge a multicolor card to not fall behind on my energy.
Yeah.
Then tap 1 for Arena.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I see that. Yeah, that's actually pretty bad.
And then on their turn, they tap 1 energy for Piccolo, they kill this, and they're like, oh, you're tapped out. And attack.
And then you lose the game. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So I figured that's how it would go, but I wanted to test it, and that's pretty much how it went.
Yeah.
So these cards, just this deck is too reliant on a curve in matches where these matter.
Yeah.
And so they don't fit into your curve. That's just how it ends up being.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. But I mean, I guess that's the trade-off for playing the most counter cards in the game, right? Whether it's counter-attack or counter-play, you pretty much play the most of either.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So,
Kind of just how it goes.
what did your tournament look like? So you got top 4. What was Swiss? What did that look like?
Well, Swiss, I 2-0'd everybody except in the last round. So I was undefeated going into round 6. I played against round 1. I played against Vigex. Round 2, I played against Mollywop Zamasu. That's the set 10 Zamasu that attacks twice.
Yeah.
Round 3, I played against Vigex.
Yep.
Round 4, Severin. I played against Ryan Severin playing Sin Shenron.
Okay.
Round 5, I played against Green Broly, Green Starter Broly. And then round 6, I go against Red Broly. I didn't care at that point because whether I won or lost, it didn't matter. Yeah. There were 3 undefeateds. I was paired down. So if I lost that match, still get into top 8 because the event ends, so it didn't matter. He was from Belgium, so so it took a little longer for our game to work because there was a slight language barrier and it's over webcam and everything.
Yeah.
So we did end up having a draw in that game. I won game 1. He didn't search Vampa on turn 1. He searched After Image instead, and so his deck was 1 turn slower, and that just let me not lose.
Yeah.
And then game 2, we went into time, and he ended up closing it out with something. A Broly attacked me and killed me. Yeah. I'm sure.
As they do.
As they do. And so then after Swiss, I'm second place. We go into top 8, and I play that guy again.
The same guy?
The same Red Broly player. Right. I end up winning that one 2-1.
Okay.
And then the very next round, I go against another Red Broly.
Another Red Broly, damn. So you had 3 in a row at that point. That's a slog, bro. That is a slog.
I got 2-0'd by that person. He played it really well. He ended up killing me with a Piccolo Jr. with 69k in game 2.
Okay. Pretty rare. Yeah,
I was pretty happy about that.
What are you going to do at that point? You know what I mean? It is what it is. So
I had 5 life. He killed me under Violent Rays.
Under Violent Rays. Bro. Yeah, man. Red Broly, good ass deck, man, for real. But and honestly, for that being the second or tied for second most deck played, you dodged it pretty much the whole event until the last 3 rounds, of course. So I mean, but that was a pretty good roll, I think. Oh
no, I was very pleased with the roll. The 2 Vigex that I played against were not using Trunks, which was an interesting choice. But my deck doesn't really lose to that deck anyway. Generally, you obviously can, but there's a lot of the cards in the main deck that do well against it.
Right.
Green Broly, it's a rogue deck, so it's just. I think game 2, I went to like 7 or 8 energy, and just eventually, I killed him with catastrophic blows and no 6-drop.
All right. Yeah.
Summon Rival Seeker, have 4 energy left open, add 2 catastrophic blows back, summon nothing, cat blow, cat blow, cat blow, cat blow.
There you go. Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. The Sin Shenron match against Severin, it's Invoker versus Sin. He had like 14, 16 cards in hand game 1, and he lost to cat blows.
That is a 0-100 matchup in Invoker's favor. I don't know how Sin could ever win outside of literally you accidentally dropping your victory strike and 3 of your cat blows on the ground and not noticing. I don't know how Sin could ever win that matchup.
4 of the cat blows on the ground. I did 6 damage with 1.
4 of the cat blows. Okay. Yeah, outside of Weevil, Underwood, chucking your cards into the ocean, I don't know how you lose that matchup.
It's pretty hard to lose. It is definitely pretty hard to lose. Maybe with the new aggro package that it has, it can do something.
Yeah.
I don't think that it can.
I don't think so. No. Okay. So I mean, pretty good tournament, bro. Top 4. We don't know whether you got 3rd or 4th, but top 4. I think it was a good job, bro. I'm pumped now because now we get to go to Miami together, and that's what I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Miami.
For those of y'all who, I mean, y'all don't know, you probably don't know us that well. Sublett is the DDD, the designated driver, bro. He is the DD champion. So I always get to drink, and Sublett does not drink, so he's always DD. And you know, I always have a great time when we go to events together. So it's gonna be a good ass time.
Always a blast, man. I'm looking forward to it, dude.
Yeah, yeah, bro.
Oh God.
It's gonna be great. But other than that, man, is there anything
Yeah.
else you want to say?
Just want to shout out the Herman Style podcast.
Oh,
It's a really
absolutely.
cool Discord group.
Yep,
They're partnered. They're partnered with Bad Beats, our team,
yep.
and it's a great podcast to listen to. It's a wonderful Discord community. You know, I'm not on most of that social media stuff. I'm not on Facebook or anything, but I hear it's quite toxic.
Yeah.
The
Oh, yeah,
Discord
for sure.
group,
Yeah,
Discord group is not toxic at all.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful place to come and test
yeah.
and that kind of thing. 3 of us actually were in top 4. 3 of the top 4 were from the Discord group.
Yeah.
Armando, who ended up winning with Dark Broly, Mike, who got either 3rd or 4th with Jiren, and me, who got either 3rd or 4th with Invoker.
Yeah. Oh, bro.
So yeah, good skill levels in there. If you want to test, come to the Discord and hang out with us.
Oh,
Chesko's
yeah.
there too.
Yeah.
Giancarlo's there too.
Giancarlo, my government. Yeah, we're in there chilling, talking about the game, talking about whatever, playing in the training channels. I'm in there talking about King Piccolo a lot. That's usually what I'm talking about. But yeah, so like you said, man, other than that, congratulations, bro. You did a great job. We're all proud of you. We'll have this up on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook. We're doing untap tournaments on Tuesday now. So I know promos. We're probably not gonna have promos for a couple of weeks. I'm not gonna have promos for like who knows. But you still want to play your new set 12 decks. Tuesday is untap tournament. Thursday is webcam event. If you're missing your locals, if you don't have anywhere else to play, hop on. I'll have a link to the Facebook and all that in the video description. We have those events every week, so you can still play even if you're missing product. You know what I mean? So other than that, man, y'all have a good day.